Well, come along and sing this song. Don't just stand there a-wishing. Welcome you to join the crew at Max More Fishing. You get more with Max for sure. If you'll just take a listen, you'll see how fun it can be at Max More Fishing.
Good morning to you. How are you doing today? So today we are out here in the shop. It's freezing cold, as you can tell with the 16,000 billion layers I have on. Dad and I are out here in the shop doing some work, and I decided to make some lures. So I've been out here for a bit, and I got some lures done, some old ones that I've just been making for a while. And yeah, they look pretty good. It's like 1 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna be building a spook with minimal power tools, like 5 things. Airbrush, just painting, bandsaw, a sander, and a drill. That's all I'm gonna be using, and a lead pot, obviously. So yeah, let's get to work. Okay, so we're just gonna start off with a little 3/4 inch by 2 inch piece of pine. We're gonna kind of draw out what we want our bait to look like. Just got a little pencil, and I'm just gonna kind of, it's gonna be a spook, so one good rule for spooks is have it kind of do one of those. I like using a pencil just in case I need to erase it. I'm just getting a rough shape down. Oh, I'm liking that. Kind of do a little flare thing here. Line tie, hook hanger, and hook hanger. And there's probably going to be a little eyeball somewhere in this area. So that looks good. Now let's throw that on bandsaw and cut it out. Okay, let's cut it out now. Be careful of fingers. There we go. So you can see that I left my lines. And the reason because I'm going to take it over to the sander and I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And there we go. So now we're going to draw the shape on top and then sand that down. So all I use is some calipers. They're electronic. You don't have to use electronic. And then I just measure it. So that is 0.75. And you just mark it. Now you can have a line that matches up. So now what you want to do is you want to come over on the head and kind of just pretty much cut the corners. You just want to get it to a shape that you're happy with. So now that you have your center line marked, you can just take a ruler and go from your center point out and just mark it all the way to your center point. And then you go from where your first mark was, draw a line across. So now you know where you start and where you end. And then once you get your first line draw, you can go and measure from that line to the center point so you know exactly how far you need it to be on this side. Okay, so we got it drawn out. Now we're just going to come over here to the sander and start a sanding. And now you can see how this is really blocky. So I'm just going to kind of go and just do one of these on each side. Oh. There we go. Now let's go make the lines that you cut to cut the corners. Okay, so now what you want to go and do is you want to just come over here. You can see here I'm putting my finger just like this, and then I'm just drawing a line. Doing the same thing with the same size lines. on each side. So now, whenever I start cutting, I just cut to those lines. So I cut the corners off until I get to that line. And then I just do that all the way around. There we go. There's the rough carve out. So all we're gonna do now is we're gonna put it in the vise and we're just gonna start sanding. And pine is actually really soft wood, so it goes pretty quick. So watch out on your lines. Don't go too heavy. Sometimes it's just easier to hand sand. I go back and forth between the vise and hand sanding. This is definitely going to be the most time consuming. That and waiting for the cookie coat to dry. Okay, so now I'm just lightly sanding it with a little bit of a higher grit. I just like to get it nice and smooth. Now this is 1,000. It's a little bit overkill, but you know what? It makes it look good. And there we go. We got this all sanded down. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the little holes for where the hook hangers are gonna go, and then I'm gonna put the lead hole. What I like to do is just mark where I kind of want things, and then just kind of take a guess of where center is. Then I get out the calipers. So now I know where I need to know where center is of where. So I need to find center, and I was just about perfect. So now, what about right here? And I was just about perfect again. I need to move this hole over just a little bit. When you've been making lures for a while, you get just about perfect most of the time. Yep, and I just got it pretty perfect. When you're making a spook, you do not want to put the line tie up here. You want to always put it down below. Then it forces the bait down, which makes it walk. I'm just going to use this old-fashioned hand crank drill for the reason I'm using the hand crank drill instead of the power drill is because I can get more precise with the holes without having a big heavy battery that might make the hole wobbly and maybe snap the bit. I'm going to turn the lead pot on now. So all I need to do for that is plug it in and set it to low, and I'm good. And there we go. Got my line tie drilled, or my line tie. And there we go. First try. Okay, so now I've got all these Corsner bits, and I'm going to go with the smallest one, because if I go any bigger at all, it's just going to bust through the side, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, and now let's make our line ties. You might be wondering, well, Max, how in the world do you make line ties? Well, I'm about to show you. So I got this 1 pound of 0.041 stainless steel lock wire. It's in a coil. It doesn't really matter that much. And now all I do is I get some of this. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm not going to make a ton of them because I already have a ton of them pre-made. So you just bend it over and clip it. And then you're going to need to keep your wire cutters out. So I have this little bitty Allen key that I turned into a J instead of a 90 degree, and I stick that in the drill. Make sure that's in there nice and tight. Now that I have the wire, I'm going to take some vice grips, and then I'm just going to clamp it down. Now, what you can do is get your vice, and if you have a normal vice, you can just get away with using the metal and just clamping it in that, but since I have this wood, I can only use vice strips. Now, I'm just gonna take the drill, hook it on, put it in reverse so it screws in normal, and pull and tighten. Okay, and there you go. Now you got your line tie. All you gotta do is just take this little access stuff and clip it. So there we go. Now you can just screw that in. But I gotta get 2 more. Okay, so now let's put some lead in this puppy. It's on a constant drip mode. 6, 7. Put 8, pretty much 8 of these in it. Let's take it back to the workstation. Okay, so now that we are got the lead at least put in it, what we can do is we can seal it. But before we want to do that, we want to take some files. I got these little micro files. You can get them at any like hardware store or whatever. And we just want to file this down. Once we get this all sanded down and all right, how we want it, we're gonna put our hook hangers on, then seal the wood so we can go test how it floats. And then if it doesn't float good, we just add more lead or take lead out. So this is pretty easy. All you do is just kind of go over it until it feels smooth, which there it is. So now I've got this little container of baking soda. And you might be wondering, well, why the heck are you going to use baking soda for? If you take baking soda and you put it over a hole to fill something, kind of like sand or whatever, and you take super glue, you drop it on the baking soda, it will cure it instantly. And I let it dry for a second. I mean, it dries instantly to the touch, but you want it to cure for a bit. And then you want to get your file back out so you can start sanding or filing. And these files will take off some wood, so be careful of where you're hitting it with. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pre-thread these. You might be saying, well, Max, you're super gluing that. Shouldn't you epoxy it? Well, I was testing these one day, and I was able to hang 85 pounds off of it. And these are not like saltwater lures. I mean, I guess they can be. But if you catch an 80-pound inshore fish, that's an amazing fish. I would be happy with that. If you can, I like to get super glue. Just press it up in that hole. Oh, don't let it cure yet. And there we go. That one I'm going to put a little crooked because it is a little off-centered. You can see. So I'm just going to kind of angle it so it kind of all lines up. And now, last one. I have a feeling it's going to be a little long, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip it and screw it in. This front one you need to be the strongest because this is what's getting all the tug. You could hook the fish with 2 hooks, but it's only really going to be reeled in by one line tie. And that's it. There we go. There's the bait. Now what you got to do, you can wear gloves. I'm actually going to go get some latex gloves to put on this. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I got some gloves, I'm just gonna spread this super glue. Let me get these on. You just don't want super glue all over your fingers. Now you just start putting it on. You gotta watch out for where you're holding it by too. You don't want to super glue your glove onto the bait. Oh no. Like I just did. Well, oh, I think I got it. Yep, I got it. Kind of. Yeah, it's fine. It's all gonna be covered in paint anyway. Almost just super glued the super glue bottle to me. This gets decently hot, so I would not be trying to keep your fingers on it. And it will eventually eat through the glove, so once you're done, take it off. Even if it does need a little more lead, all we do is just drill right through the super glue, and it'll actually make the hole a lot cleaner looking. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna let this dry here for a minute, and I'll let you know when it's dry. Okay, got the bait tied up on this little rod so I can see how it floats and see how the action is. Let's take it out to the donkey trough. Oh, okay, so we're out here in the goat area. You can see where they drink their water from. They're gonna be a little loud, so just ignore them. That looks good. There it is. Hey, stop eating my jacket. So now what it's time for is the eyeballs, and then we paint. This is a 960 course drill bit, and it should be pretty perfect eyes for this little guy. You don't want to go deep at all. You just want to make them define. And there we go. Once I put some paint in there, it'll look awesome. Okay, so I got my airbrush, got my hose, got everything, got a little air or water filter so I don't get any spurts of water. And I'm gonna start off with some white, some Createx opaque white, and yeah, just gonna mix it up. It's a really thick paint, so I'm gonna have to be careful. Don't add a bunch. And yeah, let's go ahead and start off. Flash cure it really quickly. I think I'm gonna go with a little bit of a brighter color. It's not gonna be natural, but it's gonna be pretty bright. I'm gonna try to get like a neon pink. Okay, let's get this started. So I gotta mix up the pink. Just got some opaque colors that came with my airbrush. Now adding some yellow just to make it a little brighter. You don't want a lot, just a little bit. And then last but not least, white. Okay, so now just got a little piece of wire to stir with, and we're gonna try painting it now. See how this works. I like that. That looks awesome. I just made a little transition to white right there. Pretty much I'm just backing up and spraying real lightly so it transitions to white a little better. Let's see, I think I'm gonna do a black lateral line, keep the top a little wider. That looks good. That looks really good. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so now what do I want to do? I think I'm going to add some black down on the actual hook hangers. There we go, I just put some black around my eyes. Okay, so now got some red paint and a little dotting tool, and I'm just putting some red paint in the eye and then hitting it with the hairdryer. Now I'm just gonna put some black on this red eye. Look how cool that looks. And look at that, guys. That is what I call finished. That is a done bait. And there you go, guys. That bait is done. You got the eyes, white on top, pink on bottom. All right, just got the bait finished, clear coated, and everything. Signatured hooks, and it's a beaut. Use KBS diamond clear coat. Diamond clear coat. Beautiful, beautiful bait. Still catch a fish on it. Looks like the sun is about to go behind some clouds, but should be good. Should be good. Okay, so we're on our way down to go see how the action works on this bait, and it is winter time, so we're gonna see if we can get a fish, but no promises. Oh my gosh. What? Look at this area. You can't tell me that's not very good. Oh, oh my gosh. I thought he had it.
No, I saw it from my angle. Come stand where I'm at.
Yeah, I saw the fish waking behind it. No way that just happened in the middle of the winter. I said that looks too good not to get a bite. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had just enough daylight left to try to catch a fish on it, but I didn't. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting too much since I had a topwater bait in the middle of winter, but, you know, for what I got, a big old blow up on it, I am stoked. So with that said, check out my Instagram, Max More Fishing. I'll leave a link down in the description because I am going to be posting updates for when I catch a fish on this thing. Stay tuned on there. Stay tuned on here. Share, like, subscribe, comment below on anything you'd like to see next. And, as always,
You get more with Max for sure if you'll just take a listen. You'll see how fun it can be at Max More Fishing.